So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. The Detroit Lions played their second game of the preseason on Saturday and got their first win of the 2022 NFL season. And today, we're going to be taking a look at that game. We're going to take a look at the major takeaways. We're going to look at the stars and the standouts, the good and the bad, and overall take a huge look at this game and what it means for this Detroit Lions football team. So with all that being said and all that intro stuff right out of the way, let's get straight on into taking a look at Detroit Lions preseason week number 2. Now the Detroit Lions traveled to Indianapolis this week in order to play the Indianapolis Colts and actually ended up upsetting the Indianapolis Colts, walking away with the 27-26 victory over those Colts. The Detroit Lions played a very, very good game, and even though the scoreline was incredibly tight, the Detroit Lions were finally able to figure out a way to win a close football game. Now, this game was neck and neck the entire time. It was the same exact score at the end of the first 3 quarters, and the fourth quarter was, of course, only decided by a 2-point conversion. These teams were matched blow for blow. Every single time one team made a big play, the other would answer right back. This was a close game. This was a competitive game, and it really tested the depths of both the Lions and the Colts. But as I said, the Lions did end up walking out on top. Now, the Detroit Lions did start their day with David Blau as the starting quarterback. David Blau outperformed Tim Boyle in the first week of the preseason, and from numerous reports has outperformed him in the training camp process as well. So Tim Boyle did start and take the first snaps at quarterback for the Detroit Lions on Saturday and had a pretty good day. Although he did throw an interception, David Blau finished the day completing 16 of his 22 pass attempts, throwing for 76 yards and 1 touchdown to, of course, that 1 interception. Now, Tim Boyle did come in to relieve David Blau and actually played a very good game. Completed 12 of his 15 passes for 99 yards and a single touchdown. Now, overall, I wouldn't say the Detroit Lions had the greatest passing attack, right? Nobody really stood out among the passing leaders. Nobody really stood out. I don't think either quarterback really separated himself from one another in order to verify themselves on the roster come roster cutdown date. But I do think both of them played fairly well. I think both of them were much better than they were in week 1. I think both of them did take improvements from week 1 to week 2. And I do think that the Detroit Lions, despite not having a very good backup quarterback situation, do have a competitive backup quarterbacking situation. But despite the very good day by Tim Boyle, I do think David Blau is and should be the backup quarterback going into the season. I don't know if the Lions will hold on to 2 quarterbacks or if they'll hold on to 3, but I think David Blau should be the quarterback 2 going in, just based off of what we've seen in the preseason and what we saw out of Tim Boyle a year ago. Now, the stars from Saturday's game did not come from the passing attack. It didn't come from the quarterbacks. There was one wide receiver that did stand out, but a lot of the standouts and a lot of our production and talk this week is going to be about the rushing attack. The Detroit Lions, as a football team, without their starting offensive line, without their 2 starting running backs, or really without a ton of game planning for the running game to be as efficient as it could be, the Detroit Lions had 33 rushing attempts for 174 yards and a single touchdown. Now, every single running back that got carries got the same amount. Every single running back, the top 4, got 7 carries apiece in Saturday's game. With those 7 carries, Justin Jackson led the team with 54 rushing yards. Craig Reynolds was second on the team with 37 rushing yards. Godwin Igwebuike was actually third with 32 rushing yards, and he alone had the single rushing touchdown to put the Lions ahead late into that game. And Jamar Jefferson, although not having a poor day, did have just 25 yards on 7 attempts. Now, Trinity Benson led all wide receivers in receiving yards with 44 on the day from 3 receptions, but the star of the passing attack was, of course, Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy finished his day with 5 receptions for 22 yards, but hauled in 2 touchdowns through the air, which of course led the team. Now defensively, there were a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but I think there were more standouts on defense than letdowns. Austin Bryant, John Kaminsky, as well as Eric Banks all had a sack on the day, but more impressively, as a football team, the Detroit Lions held the Indianapolis Colts to average just 1.7 yards per carry in the game. Now their pass defense was not very good, but their run defense on Saturday was absolutely elite, and you could not ask for a whole lot better. Their run defense was very good. Their linebackers played very good gap discipline. Their linebackers were fast, aggressive to the football. They got a lot of tackles for loss and a lot of tackles for very minimum gain. There was no major run broken off. There was no, huge rushing success by the other team. Now there was some passing success, but the rushing attack with Isaiah Buggs, with Demetrius Taylor, with the interior defensive line and the linebacker play yesterday or on Saturday, they played extremely well. They were a very good elite run defense on Saturday. Now, as I said, the passing defense, I should say, wasn't very good, as the Indianapolis Colts quarterbacks combined for a total of 7 incompletions on the day, going 21 of 28 for 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. The pass game wasn't very good. They gave up a passing touchdown very late in the game with, I believe, just 30-something seconds left for the second week in a row. Cedric Boswell gave up the potential game-tying or game-winning touchdown, but the Detroit Lions secondary made a play when it counted, and when it came to that 2-point conversion, the pass rush started to get home. They flustered the quarterback, and the quarterback threw the pass incomplete, letting the Lions take their first preseason victory since August 24th of 2018. Now, the Lions, as I said, did have a bunch of ups and a bunch of downs on defense, right? Their linebacker play was phenomenal. Malcolm Rodriguez played it very well. Derek Barnes took a huge step forward even from a week ago, and I thought Derek Barnes looked like the best linebacker on the team next to Malcolm Rodriguez, and then I thought Jarrad Davis played very good as well. Jarrad Davis has 2 pass deflections, or has 2 passes defended in the first 2 weeks of the preseason. That was really his big thing when he was in Detroit, was he can't cover the pass. He can't be that pass coverage linebacker because he just simply can't do it. He's a blitzer. He's a guy that you want around the line of scrimmage. He's a guy that you want running at the quarterback or at the running back, not away from them. And yet Jarrad Davis, despite still being able to do all those things, right, in the preseason, he's already showed he can blitz, he can rush the passer, he can get home, he can lay a big hit on a wide receiver or a running back or a quarterback. But what he's shown even more of is the fact that even though I wouldn't say it's elite or great, he has shown the competence that he has learned how to cover in zone and man in the NFL. And I do think going into the season, if Alex Anzalone can't start because of his major injury that ended his season last year, I do think that the starting 3 linebackers should be Jarrad Davis, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Derek Barnes as the 3 starters. Now, despite an overall poor performance from the secondary, I did think Jeff Okudah was the single standout player. He was only targeted once on a very quick inside slant route where he did give up the completion, but it was a completion for 4 to 5 yards. If you're going to give up 1 completion a game for 5 yards, you're going to be looked at as a pretty good cornerback in the NFL. He was good in coverage. He didn't really get tested a whole lot, didn't even really get looked at a whole lot by the Colts backup quarterbacks. But when he looked good. He looked really good in coverage, looked very fluid, looked very natural. I think he's really starting to find his groove in the NFL. And I think he's really starting to kind of find where he belongs and find what he does well. And so are the coaches. I think they're starting to really see the player that Jeff Okudah can become. Now, special teams had a very good day. Maurice Alexander had 4 kick returns for 152 yards with a long of 61. He was very efficient through the kick and punt return game, and I think might actually have a chance to make the roster because of his special teams versatility. Austin Seibert went 2 for 3 on his kicks, did miss one that bounced right off the post that would have put the Lions up 9-6 and would have made the ending of the game a little less climactic, but he missed one of his 3 kicks. Riley Patterson did not get a field goal attempt in the second half, but did kick 2 for 2 on his extra points. And just overall, I thought the special teams looked good. I thought the special teams, right, Jack Fox, we know, was very good. He had like a net of 60 yards or something crazy like that again. The kicking game, you missed 1 field goal, but it's a competition, and I think every field goal is going to matter at this point. And I think Riley Patterson should be the #1 kicker going into next week. I just think he's a little bit more efficient. I think he's just a little bit more accurate. And I think he does have a longer distance than Austin Seibert. And then, of course, as I said, The special teams competition for kick and punt returner is certainly heating up. Godwin Igwebuike, the starter from last year, is still there, but Maurice Alexander's making a case. Khalil Pimpleton's made a case. Khalif Raymond's been making a case for himself throughout camp. So I think that competition is still very much there and alive. I think it's going to be a very fun competition to watch for the Lions. But with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Let me know your major thoughts and takeaways from week 2 of the NFL preseason. I'd be very curious what you guys think. With all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Thank you both so much for watching. And until next time, and as always, go Lions!